Hi, everybody. Coach Allison back, and I have week 39 Defy Aging this week. If you can believe it's already week 39 into the year. Okay, this week's going to be very, very different. So I hope everyone enjoys what we're going to do this week. Changing gears a little bit. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We have 8 exercises. You might not get through all 8 of them, and that's okay. We're going to do a 30-minute max. So you get as far as you can in the 30 minutes. You're going to be working in your own space with the exception of, I think, one exercise because we're going to be needing to share some TRXs today. And it's going to be a 100 rep routine this week. All right, so what we're going to do is for all 8 of these exercises, you're going to complete 100 reps of each of them. And the clincher, however, is that you have to complete all 100 reps before you move on to the next exercise. So by that, I mean, we aren't breaking them up and doing, 20 reps of exercise A and then 20 reps of exercise B and then 20 reps of exercise C and then going back to the first exercise and then doing 20 more. So you start with one exercise, you do all 100 reps. Then you go to the next exercise and you do all 100 reps. So it's just a very different feel for your body, for your muscles. It's going to be, it's really going to focus more on muscular endurance. So the endurance of those muscles. So how much they can just continue to do the same repetitive motion all at once. And yeah, so there's going to, of course, be a list of exercises on the board. You don't have to do them in that order. You can pick and choose the order you want to do them in. And again, and I say that because the TRX is going to be involved and we only have a few TRXs. So you might have to go, if you see a TRX open, you might want to make that be your next exercise and run over to the TRX and kind of claim it and do that for your next exercise. Then go back to your station and continue the list. So you can really pick and choose what order you want to do them in. That being said, let's review the 8 exercises. The first exercise is squats. Nothing fancy, good old-fashioned squats. Our more advanced participants, or if you simply just choose to, you can choose to hold on to a weight, a kettlebell for this. It is 100 reps, so it's going to get hard enough with the reps alone, but you can use the weight for as long as you'd like and then set the weight down when you feel like it's too much. So anyway, the weight is completely optional, so I'm not even going to pick one up to show you. But it's standard squats. So feet are hip width apart. Arms are just kind of up in front of your body, sitting down into that imaginary chair that would be behind you by sinking the hips kind of back first. And the knees can come forward a little bit. It's okay if they come forward a little, but we don't want them to come forward like this. We don't want them to come forward this much. If your heels are lifting off the floor, we want to correct that. We want the heels to stay down on the floor at all times. You actually want to push through your heels. So your heels should be firmly connected to the floor. And yeah, sit down in that imaginary chair. The lower, work on getting as low as you can. So work to your ability or your level. So we can start by going smaller range of motion as you feel ready and able. You can work on getting a deeper range of motion, more knee bend. So yeah, that's your squat. With this 100 rep routine today, and I'll since this is the first exercise, I'll just toss this explanation in now. This goes for all of the exercises in the whole routine today. Get through the 100 reps however you can. If you can do all 100, 1, 2, and just all straight through, I couldn't do that, but if you can, that's amazing. I like to do the tactic of doing as many as possible first. So maybe I can get to like 50 before I'd have to stop. And then I stop and kind of take a little rest, shake out the legs, maybe grab a quick sip of water, then jump back in. For the second little time I go through, maybe I can get to 20 more, so then I'd be up to 70. Then maybe I take a quick little rest, and I can maybe get to like 85, and then the full 100. So you kind of break it up into little chunks. But again, you do all 100 before you move on to your next exercise. And when you take little breaks, try to keep them short, like 30 seconds or less. Okay, and that goes for all of the exercises that I'm going to continue to show you. All right, I know that was a little extra on the squats, but let's move on. Exercise 2, and again, you can do these out of order, so it might not be exercise 2 for you, is a hip thrust. Okay, so we're lying on the floor. We do this exercise quite a bit. Feet flat, so we want to avoid picking up your toes and pressing through the heels, so feet are flat. Right? Arms down at your sides. Turn the palms up. That's just going to be a little bit safer on your shoulders, the way they're going to press down into the floor with your hands facing up, palms facing up. And we thrust those hips up. Tap the floor with your butt, but don't take a full rest. And maybe a quick pause at the top for a little nice extra squeeze. Okay, so we're going to do 100 of these. Little pauses, little breaks when you need it. For anybody staying off the floor, I'm going to let your coach come up with a good alternative. So there's lots of different things you can do. Your coach might put you in our hamstring curl machines where you're seated at a machine and you're curling your legs back. Your coach might put you on a bench doing that exact same exercise I just showed you, but you're lifting and lowering your hips with your feet on a bench. There is the option of kettlebell deadlifts, but that might, anyone that has maybe a tender lower back, 100 reps might be a lot on your lower back. So I'm going to leave that up to you and your coach for anyone that needs a modified version of that exercise. Next exercise, band side steps. Now we're focusing on the hips, kind of the glutes, piriformis back here. 100 of these. So you want to kind of be even on each side. So back and forth might be the best way to make sure you're even. 100 total. If you want to, because it's going to get kind of boring, right? So if you want to go 5 to the one direction and then 5 to the other, so you're counting 5, 10, 15, 20, and so on. If you have a big enough space and you want to go 10 one direction, 10, however you want to break it up is totally fine. But we just want to get to that 100 total. Make sure to pick a band. Again, though, it's 100 reps. So if in our normal group sessions, when we're going maybe 20, 30, or 40 seconds, you use the firmer band, maybe consider taking a step down and going to the lighter band for your 100 reps. Maybe not, because you do get to take some breaks. But keep that in mind when you're choosing your resistance here. Okay, the next exercise is a TRX back row. We do this one a lot. Now, this is one where, like how I said, the exercises don't necessarily have to be done in order, and this is one of the reasons why we might not have enough TRXs to accommodate everyone in your session. So when you see one of the TRXs become available, you might want to do that one next in your routine and hop on over to the TRX, and that can be the next exercise that you do. So anyway, that being said, just quick reminder of our TRX back row. Palms are going to be neutral, so facing inward like this as opposed to overhand or underhand. Recline back, arms should come fully straight between each rep. So but by that, I mean they should look like this. And we don't want to kind of stop the arms short and just kind of do baby reps like this. The farther down you step, the harder this becomes. So you might be able to start kind of like here, and maybe as you get closer to your 100 reps, you can change it and make the reps, make the intensity a little bit lighter. So that's a nice, easy, quick way to change the intensity level by simply stepping your feet back. Squeeze your shoulder blades together at the top of each rep. Shoulders down, so try not to shrug. And we want to make sure we're not letting the hips kind of dip back and thrust up. Nothing like this. Your body is always staying very straight and strict, like that body position. Okay? Those are all the reminders for the TRX back row. Chest press. Nothing fancy. We do this quite a bit. We are on the floor with our weights. All right, elbows, start them straight out to the side, but then dip them down just a little bit. That's the best angle for your arms. And press up, bring them slightly inward. Just make sure they don't slam together. Control them down. So make sure your shoulders aren't shrugging up to your ears. I don't know if you saw that, but now they're shrugged up. Now I kind of push them down. So this one's going to be challenging because, yes, it's a chest exercise, but you're getting a lot of arm and a lot of shoulder as well. So 100 of these is going to be challenging. So I definitely recommend going lighter, again, a little bit lighter than the weight you would pick when we're doing, a set of 30 seconds. Because the goal with this whole routine is not pressing really heavy weight this week. The goal is more muscular endurance, and that's going to require a slightly lighter weight for everything. So keep that in mind. We want to go longer at one time. So, maybe getting 30 or 40 reps at a time before your breaks, as opposed to only doing 10 reps, resting, 10 reps, then resting, 10 reps, and doing that for 10 rounds. So maybe go a little bit lighter than you would normally go in our typical routine. So that is our chest press. Anyone staying off the floor, your coach can bring in one of our benches and put it on a slight incline. It's just a little bit safer to recline back onto the bench if it has a little bit of an incline. And you can do that exact same movement on our incline bench. Bicep curls, another oldie but a goodie, right? We're doing both arms together. We're doing this form where you're turning the palms up at the top and then the palms turn in at the bottom. Okay, so this is bicep 100 of these. This is a very small muscle we're working. Your bicep is very isolated, very small area. We want to do a full extension at the bottom. So we do want to allow that arm to come all the way down at the bottom, but without swinging it back. So we don't want to start to get sloppy. Towards the end, we're going to be wanting to do stuff like this. So tight control. I'm using 8s, and I like just these. Maybe I'm doing 15 or 20 here so far with this little demo, and I'm starting to feel this. So this one you might need to break up into quite a few chunks, maybe doing 10 to 15, maybe 20 at a time. Rest, 10 to 20 more, rest, 10 to 20 more. Do it however you need. We want to avoid tiring out that low back. So we want to avoid leaning back to get these curls done. If you feel yourself or find yourself starting to do that, a quick trick to stop that is to stagger your stance. Stagger your stance like this, and that will sort of help to avoid that little lean back. If you need to drop your weights and go to a lighter set to finish out the 100 reps, go right ahead. But that is our bicep curls, 100 of them.
All right, this exercise, plank toe taps, and the video didn't take at the club, so I'm redoing it at my home here. So that is the reason for the sudden change of venue. So plank toe taps, 100 total, not each side. So 50 each side, 100 total. So this is gonna be our core exercise. So we're gonna be in that elbow plank, okay? So elbows and toes. Oh boy, this is gonna be a fun one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on like that. The only downside to the plank toe tap is that there's not a knee version of this variety of a plank, because I've tried it, tapping the knees out to the side, it really just doesn't work so great. So we can do this version of a plank up on an incline. So your coach can bring in one of the boxes, or the benches are probably gonna be more comfortable because you're gonna be on your elbows, and we can turn this into an incline plank, and you can be on your elbows on a bench doing that same toe tap movement for anyone that is unable to get onto the floor. So that is our core exercise for the routine, 100 plank toe taps.
Now some of these moves might get aerobic just in and of themselves, but we do have a cardio specific move, of course. We do a lateral floor run. So you start with your feet wide, and we're gonna do the in, out step. So doing it fast, it's an agility move too. In, out, in, out. Now, if you lead with the same foot for the whole 100, it's going to start to get a little tiring on that leg. It doesn't seem like it's a big difference, but it kind of is. So watch this is my right leg. It might look like the left to you, but watch my right leg. It's going to in, out, in, out. This leg is doing all the pushing off because it's the leg that's leading that out step. So every time I stop and kind of take a rest and then come back to it, I'm going to switch my leading leg. So now I'm going to start leading with my left leg. And it's just going to sort of change the feel. It's going to give that leading leg a little break. okay? So keep that in mind. You don't have to switch. It's just my advice, just to even it out a little bit. That one, depending on your cardiovascular level, fitness level experience with us, you might be able to get all the way through 100 without even stopping, just maybe stopping enough to change that leading leg. Take breaks as you need to, though. 100 of the lateral floor runs. Okay, that's the 100 rep routine. Again, there's 30-minute time frame to do these in. Just get as far as you can. If you don't get all of the 8 exercises in, that's okay. If you get all of them done within the 30 minutes, go ahead and hop on a piece of cardio equipment until the 30 minutes is done while everyone else is finishing up their 100 reps. And that is how you can finish out the 30 minutes. You can get some steady state cardio on the treadmill, elliptical, the rower, spin bike, whatever you like. There is no team builder this week. We wanted to focus strictly on these 100 reps for the solid 30 minutes. So no team builder this week. And we hope you enjoy this 100 rep routine in week 39. Week 40 next week is our next mobility week. So you can look forward to that. We'll see you then.